This is the 2018 DaVinci Spartan. I've ridden it for about a year now, and I figure it's about time to give it a proper bike check. In this video, I'm going to go over the main parts of this bike, but really hone in on how the bike feels. If you're interested, I'll leave a full spec list of this bike in the description. Starting with my general thoughts, I genuinely like this bike. I feel it's a solid bike that can really get any kind of job done, whether that's big downhills at the bike park or longer XC days. This bike can do it all. One thing that I noticed with this bike is it's really a jack of all trades bike, and looking at it now, I really put a lot of value in that. The model that I have here runs 27.5-inch wheels, and I definitely say that I really like riding 27.5. I find it strikes a great balance between being playful and also being efficient. Moving on to the main specs, up front we have a RockShox Lyric RC coming in at 170mm in travel. I've had no problems getting this fork adjusted to my riding style, and I definitely say that the fork feels of high quality. It's kind of hard to explain in a video. That being said, I am currently dealing with one issue with this fork, and it's where the fork actually sags inward a little bit into the lowers, kind of where the 10% mark is. I'm curious to know, have any of you had this issue before? We've got a 165mm RockShox Super Deluxe in the rear. It's a nice feeling shock, and it has 3 adjustments which really contribute to that jack of all trades feeling I was talking about in the beginning. It's a plush yet progressive feeling shock at the same time. I haven't really been able to bottom it out at all, which has been really nice. What hasn't been all too nice though is the brakes. These are the SRAM Guide Rs. I'll be honest, to me they just feel weak. They don't feel like they have a ton of stopping power, and I find that my hands get really sore after long technical downhill trails. I've definitely gotten used to them, and that issue has kind of alleviated over time, but it's still an issue nonetheless. I will hand it to SRAM in the style of their brake. I really like a brake that you can kind of casually squeeze on and casually squeeze off, and SRAM really does that well. I've used Shimano brakes in the past, and to me they just feel really on or off. You don't really get any middle ground in the squeeze. Last but not least, we have the SRAM GX Eagle 1x12 derailleur. This thing is satisfying. This thing is really good. It shifts really smoothly, and I definitely really like the clicky feeling. I've had pretty minimal problems throughout its lifespan, but I'm definitely having a problem right now where it's not shifting fully, so I might have to take it to the shop. So how exactly does this bike ride? Well, it's a big, burly, almost free-ride bike, yet a smaller, more nimble XC bike at the exact same time. When you need this bike to eat up chunky downhill, it does, with ease. And when riding XC trails, I never felt that I was at any disadvantage, well, aside from my fitness level, but that's besides the point. This is also a very stable feeling bike. I have an XL 27.5 model, and when going around corners, I never really feel that I'm going to tip over all that much. It feels planted yet playful at the same time. You'll notice that that's kind of the trend in this video. It feels this and this at the exact same time. But that's kind of the reason why I like this bike. It strikes a very good balance between everything that I'd ever want in an enduro bike. Good pedaling efficiency, lots of suspension, and easy to work with geometry. I do have a few criticisms though, and the first one being, I do wish they had have upgraded the brakes on this bike. I definitely feel that if they had have upgraded the brakes to maybe the SRAM codes, that this bike would be that much better. I also wish that they would have added some accents onto this bike just to kind of spice it up and give it some flavor. Maybe some red or white accents would have looked nice. The one thing that I did want to touch on is the lesson that I learned from buying this bike. When I was buying this bike, I was really stressing myself out about work, selling bikes, and borrowing money. Thanks, Mom and Dad, I really do appreciate it. When you buy a bike, you definitely want to take your time. When I bought this bike, I was in a pretty big rush to get a new bike for the upcoming race season. I definitely took my time when buying this bike, but in retrospect, I should have taken a lot longer. I should have demoed other bikes from other shops and really found the one that was right for me. Don't get me wrong, I thought long and hard before I bought this bike, but I really should have gone and test rode other bikes. That being said, this bike is an absolute dream to ride, and I'm so stoked to call it my own and take it with me into the upcoming race season. And that's gonna wrap it up for this bike check. Thank you all very much for watching. If you liked this video, please consider dropping a like or subscribing, and just remember, think less, ride more.